and performer. Cornelius has been featured in Cosmopolitan and OK Magazines alongside student and client, actress, and entrepreneur Jessica Alba, co-founder of The Honest Company. Pre-COVID, he was dancing with Oprah. Oh my God, I saw you. I said, is that you? He was dancing with Oprah on her 2020 Vision Tour in partnership with WW, otherwise known as Weight Watchers. He's taught yoga to a list of celebrities and reality stars while living in Los Angeles. In addition, Cornelius is a veteran performer of NYC's Broadway theater scene, having performed in shows such as, you may have heard of, The Lion King. Oh my God. Thou Shalt Not and Smokey Joe's Cafe. I'm just so proud of you and so honored to have you here. When he is out of the yoga studio, he works independently for a variety of small business and sober living facilities. We have to talk about that. Providing the services of yoga, mindful movement, and education and creative writing. And today we are going to talk with Cornelius about how to align for success. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Deb. And hello to everyone out there. I can't see you physically, but I can feel you energetically. So.
Yes, yes, yes. And I have to tell you, Cornelius, that last year in March, when we were suddenly notified about the pandemic, right? I
Yeah.
had already been doing your Cornelius yoga burn at home just because it was more convenient in my schedule. But
Yeah.
your yoga and just seeing you online saved my soul and many other people that I told about you. I mean, how were you able, in the midst of a global pandemic, your yoga studio shutting down,
Yeah.
to be such a light in this world?
Well, I always just have to pay homage to the people before me, the ancestors, my family, my mom, my dad, may he continue to rest, in heaven. They were just pillars for just social change, pillars for just doing good work within the community, pillars for just keeping family together and uplifted and moving through challenging times and just making challenging times just the best time. So I give, homage and reverence to them and also a host of aunts, women, females in my life who have been there to support me, to help me, to keep me moving on. And it's just like their love and support has just been a part of me. And naturally, I have this naturally giving heart. And I just right away at the top of, the pandemic, everything was shut down and I enjoy teaching yoga. I enjoy, showing up for people and being present. And I love that sense of community. And though we couldn't be physically together, I still felt like within the virtual space, there was still an opportunity to hold space and to hold community. So I didn't even think twice. I was just like, all right, well, studio's not open. Let's go to Instagram Live and start working. I wanted to bring, because it was just a new normal that we were in. And we weren't even, I can't even say it was a new normal. It was just like confusion. Everybody was just like confusion at that point. Literally, it was just like, what is going on? So I was just like, all right, we just need some normalcy and consistency so that we can stay balanced and not go crazy. We don't know how long we're going to be in the house. We don't know how long this is going to last. And I just right away, like I said, I didn't think twice. I just went online and was like, if I can keep people connected in that way, great. And then it just became a part of, my overall mission, which was an underlying thing that I have been working on throughout my life. And now looking back, I can even see that it was coming to fruition, or I was like, setting myself up even in my performance life to be in a place where I'm still a student of life, but still, be in a place where I can be a coach for people, a guide for people, and a source of inspiration for people.
Yeah, and it was just such an inspiration just to see your smile. There never was one day because it wasn't just the pandemic 2020. It was the Black Lives Matter move. It was just like everything
Yeah.
it was going from like bad to worse to crazy insanity. And
Yeah.
there wasn't one day that you didn't come with a eyes lit up, and like, what inner work do you do on a daily basis to keep you strong in your faith to be able to be of service at such a high level of excellence?
Yes, inner work that I do and daily is daily meditation, daily prayer. And I want to say about daily meditation and prayer, it's different for everyone. You know,
Right.
it's unique for everyone. Whereas it's different and unique for me too. It has been a certain way at one point in my life, and now at this point in my life, my prayer, my meditation is totally different. So my prayer, my meditation right now is a lot of just before going to bed at night, counting down 3 things from my gratitude list
Mm.
before waking up. Well, not before waking up, but after waking up, before getting out of the bed, and before doing any type of busy work, whether that is to step out of my bed and actually do a yoga stretch, which is preparation as well, or to get some warm water to fuel the body, to coat the palate. It's again before I get on the phone and getting to that social media world, is to gratitude. 3 things that I'm grateful for, and if more come up, continue to just speak that out loud, like it's your Sunday sermon. That's what I do. Sometimes I say it out loud, or sometimes I say it softly to myself. So that is my first preparation, and I make sure that I take those couple of breaths, whether it's 3 to 5 breaths, whether I'm taking breaths or breathing meditation for 30 seconds. Some days I need like 5 minutes, some days I need 10, some days I need 20. That is the preparation for me, so that I can step out and be good for myself, so that I can be good and for others. It's interesting because, like I said, my sense of prayer and meditation has changed. It's always been, I guess, in the same school, right, or within the same block. But just how I practice and things that I incorporate, it has, it shifts from time to time. And how I would pray and meditate and do my morning rituals when I lived in New York for 12, 13 years is a little different for how I do it now. And one thing that LA taught me was, as I said, we never have any seasons here. We just have summer and spring. It's always sunny. There's always trees. There's always green. It's just LA has opened me up to see just nature more. Although it is a desert, I know we're in the desert, but something about being here with the parks and with just nature and with the beach, it's just opened me up to just experience more of the elements, the elements of earth, water, fire, air, and one thing that I did when I got here, I was like, before I start to get too busy, I need to get my footing. I was just like, my spirit was just like, you got to get grounded.
Right.
You have to get grounded, because you can't fly without grounding first.
Mhm.
You gotta land. You gotta stay grounded and stay planted and stay it's rooted before you
Right.
can pick up and fly. You can just look at like airplanes, right? They go up, but they come down. They have to be grounded first to get the fuel, that we need, so that we can, take off in the air and everything, get the cleaning and everything, So it was sort of like, it was not sort of, but it was like I had just instantly when I got here, I was like, I'm gonna work on having a foundation and having like a cleansing ritual for myself before I start to get busy and before I start to just take off and get involved. Because I was busy in New York City.
Right.
Loved my life in New York City. I got a lot accomplished. But one thing about my life in New York City, you can ask anyone who knew me while I was in New York. And people probably say that about me now, but I feel like my business now is very much grounded, and I do know when to say no. I do know when to stop. But in New York, I didn't have that. And it could have, and I think it was also environmentally as well. And that was the thing as well. I was, even on days off, I was busy. I had to do stuff. I had to go here,
Right.
from there. But I just, and with age, I was like, that's just not what I want for my life.
Right.
And just the environment of LA slowed me down. And then yoga as well. Now, let me say yoga as well slowed me down. So that has, hopefully I answered your question. It's a little long-winded there.
Oh, no, definitely. And did you know, Cornelius? You didn't know, but you passed the test of Align. So Align stands for awareness, is for the A, L is for
Mhm.
letting go, I
Yeah.
is for the inner work, G is for grounding, and N
Yeah.
is for saying no.
Yeah.
Ooh la la. Ah!
Hey.
You got all this. I love it. And one of the things that I would love, and I still do love, like about your yoga classes. And by the way, when he's talking about yoga, it's not like you're not invited. I put his website at the bottom, corneliusyogaburn.com. Everything's online. So wherever you are in the world, because I know I have people in Canada and Mexico and all over the world, you can do yoga with Cornelius, with me. There's Zoom, there's Instagram. Like it's got a whole membership community. But what I love about your classes is it's not just the outer physical work. You talk to us. I remember just being the one day I'll never forget. Remember when you played India RE and you were like reading the lyrics or something? That was when I had the magical flying, levitating moment in Beverly Hills. I was, oh my God, he's magical. He's so magical. Right. And I was like, wow, he's special. You are special because you're not just teaching, you're evoking the truth in who we know we are, or at least that's what you did for me. I don't know if that's an intention. It must be. But can
Mhm.
you talk about your yoga teaching and your spiritual experience in community? Because I believe we get immunity through community. That's why I love classes so much.
I love group classes. I love group fitness. Again, I love community. I love people. I always say my first love is theater, musical theater. In the theater, we call ourselves the theater community, right? And it
Ah,
is a community of like-minded individuals who are just so in love, sometimes super obsessed with song and dance, But that's always been community has always been a thing that I grew up on and I long for. A village, people that I trust and we trust each other and that can support. So when I first really got into group fitness, for myself, I realized that at certain places, and no shade or disrespect to where I was, the clubs that I was a part of at that time, but I felt like, or even the teachers, I just felt like that there wasn't a, I didn't feel as welcome in the space,
right.
and that was one of my main points of creating space and community in a yoga class, where I wanted everyone, regardless of where you are within your yoga practice, or where you are within your physical practice. And as long as you have an able body, I want everyone to come into the space feeling welcomed and being seen.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I just want you to know that I see you, we see you, you are welcome here.
And
Um,
you would even know our names. And then when new people would come in, and then at the end of the class, we would clap for the new people. Like
yeah,
that really made me feel like I wanted to be a part of your class because I'm like, it matters if I show up and sit here. They know if I'm there. Oh, you haven't been here for 2 weeks, Deborah. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's just like
Because
that's
it's daunting. It's daunting for anyone, to walk into a new space where it's no one if you've come by yourself and then into a new practice, and somehow how here in the Western society, yoga has different meaning for everyone, and the way it's perceived in certain situations, it's intimidating. And
right.
that's not what it's really meant to be intimidating. It should be a welcoming space right there. So I was just all about like, look, I know how it feels again to walk into a space, not really feeling really nervous, out of place, not being seen, but really wanting to be there. Like I really want to be here, but I don't feel like I belong or I don't feel in place here. So I really, again, I wanted to set that off from the start. Like that's what we have to do, because this is our tribe. We all belong in this tribe, and we are all responsible for each other and making sure that we are protected and loved and supported. Yes. So
Yeah.
that, yeah. 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I'm looking at my computer because I shifted the way I set up. I forgot to plug my
Oh
charging
yeah, very
that.
good. So Brittany saying that's amazing. Feeling welcomed is a new fitness class is a game changer, especially in
Yeah,
Beverly Hills where it's very
yeah,
extreme, and it seems like especially in that particular studio there was kind of a competitive vibe, and
yeah,
maybe not of like other yoga classes where it's like namaste. It's like where's your Lululemon? It's
yeah.
like
You
wait
know,
a
and that's
minute.
what I was saying. Like, you know, certain, and you know, I've been doing this for a while, and I see like certain yoga communities are very much like, and that's their path, that's their journey, but it is very competitive. It's very not as inclusive as it should be. And that's something that, you know, we as yoga teachers and as yoga students, we have to just be more aware and start to just sort of push back on that and break that mold and break that sort of that narrative that you have to have your Lululemon bag. And no shade to Lululemon, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
I love the discounts when we got discounts. I love the shorts. I love when my students gifted me some Lululemon gift cards. No shade, although a lot of Lululemon stuff don't really fit me, but no shade. But I'm just saying it's more about that's not what yoga is about. The Lululemon,
Right.
having the perfect mat, you know, or
Exactly.
having the perfect clothing. And no, it's not really about that.
Yeah, I mean, there were times that I would like be close to tears in the class because by the time, because his classes are not easy. They're like we were doing like with weights. It was 102 degrees, and we were like up and down, blah blah blah, running around. I miss that. I do miss that. All that. But it was really the spiritual inner work that would get you to such a place of just peace and loving yourself, like
Hmm.
the closing thing that you would do. So how do you go? And I do want you to elaborate on your theater days, like
Yeah.
from Lion King to being here in LA and make that transition. And also from actor performer, and you know I've said this about you before. One of the things I admire so much about you is your ability to be a entrepreneur and a marketer because that is a talent not every creative soul has. So how did you transition? And then what like coaching tips do you have for people that are wanting to be entrepreneurial to be able to be visible, be seen?
Well, what coaching tips do I have? I'm gonna, because that's the last question I sort of
Yeah.
want to. Do people want to be entrepreneurs? I was just having a conversation with a young guy the other day. Find yourself a career coach. Find yourself a business coach. Like
Sure.
I reached out to you, but you know, find yourself a coach or a life coach, business coach, career coach. If you have a lot of ideas, especially if you have a lot of ideas running around in your head, definitely get someone who is skilled in that area who can help you put the pieces together and who can help, you know, keep you calm and grounded and aligned. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. And I would say if you have those ideas, going back to the early part of the question, you know, just also don't limit yourself. Start to just, you know, go out, step out, you know, sort of, you know, let yourself fall off of that cliff and try some things out because, you know, somebody will be there to catch you. You know, you'll catch yourself. You'll pick yourself back up.
And that's such a good point because one of the reasons you're one of my most coachable and successful people that I've worked with is because you're not scared of making a mistake and you're not committed to being perfect. You can imperfectly do something and know, oh, I'll just fix it. I'll just course correct. I'll try this out of the park. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't, you know.
And I think that just comes with a lot of just being vulnerable and just having that, you know, just sort of stepping out on fear, stepping out on faith, stepping through fear, which, you know, gets to my whole yoga burn, why I have the whole brand yoga burn now because of the burn metaphor. Burn is a metaphor for fire. And fire is you can look at that fire as, you know, you step through that fire. And when you step into that fire, right, that's when you're facing your fears. That's when you're facing like
Yes.
everything that you may have feared for yourself, or maybe someone's story has became your story and that have kept you into a space of fear. But stepping into that fire, stepping into that fear, dealing with that and rising above that, like that phoenix from the ashes, so that you can step through that fear and grow and just soar and do just anything. So when you have another opportunity, another project or something else coming up, that you may be fearful again, because fear it's going to come back, you know, with new things, different things. I always thought like, oh, once I finish this project or once I sort of master this, I'm good with anything else that come along the way. No, they still come back and creep in, but it's just to use those techniques that you've used to sort of walk through one set of fears, use those techniques to get you through the next one. So I go back again. I want to go back to like my performance career. I think again, everything that I've done, post becoming a yoga instructor and entrepreneur is all based on just I give homage and respect again to my performance career. To my teachers back in elementary school, middle school, high school, whenever I wanted to, when I said I want to perform, I want to sing, I want to dance, I want to be on stage, I give my teachers who were hard and lovingly hard, and on me to be a better student, to be more disciplined, to study outside of school hours, to practice, my songs, my dance routines, to even just study books, more academic stuff. All of that is basically, for me, what has given me the courage to step out even when I'm scared as fuck. Can I say that online?
Yeah, why not?
It gives me courage to step out. And then I have to really go back to like early in my performance career, and before I got my first Broadway show, it was just being a performer, auditioning is fearful. It's a lot of fear and anxiety that's wrapped around that, because you lots of times the people on the other side of the table, they have certain things that they're looking for, and you want to be perfect and you want to do all of that. So I've gone through all of that, being perfect and failing, being perfect and succeeding. And not being my best and succeeding, being my best and not succeeding. So I've gone through all of that. But those things that I've done in my performance career has helped me to be able to, again, just break through some of my own personal limitations. I've picked up on just working for Disney for so long, just watching like how they would market stuff and within their company, just sort of sitting back and taking notes. It's just not like I just showed up to work, the Broadway stage and checked in, put my makeup on, threw my costume on and went out and did the show. Yes, I did that, but I also just sat back and looked at how everything in the building was operating, from not only the actors and performers on stage, but our resident director and choreographer, our stage managers, our tech hands, our costume designers, the marketing team that will come in and have conversations with us. When I was invited to go do different type of group sales events, I just sort of took all of that in. I was just getting educated and just being aware of how that worked. I was like, I'm not at that place where I'm not a Disney brand, but I can definitely look and learn from how they are operating this, and I can try to do this for myself on a smaller scale. And just trying things. Trying things. Go ahead.
Oh, Nancy said that she missed what show was it? Have you heard of The Lion King, Nancy? What? And plus, like, you've been on all these shows on TV. I go crazy whenever I see you on television.
Speaking of The Lion King, I set this up on purpose. This little scene here. All right. This is an original artwork by Julie Taymor, the director and choreographer, Tony-winning Julie Taymor of The Lion King. She also wrote some of the music and lyrics to the show as well. But this is an original painting signed by her.
Amazing.
That in 2002, when I first got the show. So this is
awesome.
A ostrich. Anyway, so yeah.
Well, so my brain is still trying to wrap my mind around yours. What is your mindset to set yourself up to like get a part? Because I remember it's not just been Broadway and stage plays. Like you would be like on NBC. I'm like, oh my God, is that you? You're on that show, right? Or whatever. Because you've done your best and you didn't make it, or you did your worst and then you did make it. How do you visualize or mentally self-talk? Like, what specifically do you do? Because I have the same thing when I go give a speech, so that you put yourself in that place where you can only do your best, right? And you may not be a match, or it may not be in alignment, but how do you psych yourself up to get ready for that?
Well, for one, this is another lesson that I learned through one of my teachers back in school. Structure will set you free. It was one of my acting teachers said that. And we say structure when the scene, like when you're studying an acting scene, or you're studying a scene, you're learning the mechanics of how a play works and how an actor does her or his character breakdown to prepare for this role. Structure, you always got to have structure. So the structure, the skeleton, the beginning, middle, and end.
Right.
And I think if for me, whenever I would go to an audition, granted, if it's like a dance audition, you don't know the choreography. Most times it's like learning in that on the spot. But then again, structure will set you free. It's about preparation, being prepared before you step into the room, being prepared as best as you can. So if you get music, or if you get a song, or if you get lines from a script ahead of time, just do your homework to just feel more comfortable and in your body with this role. So literally put it in your body, get up, walk around your space, embody the character. Embody it. Yeah. Does this character slump? Does this character stand erect? And then say the lines like that, sing the song like that, play around with different voices, get silly with it. Just be prepared, know the song that you're singing about, know what you're talking about in the piece. And if you don't know, go online, Google something, ask a friend. I know sometimes I get scripts and I see words or songs, I see words like, what is this word? Or it's like, how do you pronounce this word? Because again, I'm from Virginia and I got a little Southern twang. It comes in and out a lot. And I'm like, I'll go online and just go to the dictionary.com. And you know how they have
you can play it. Yeah.
You can play it. I'm like, oh, that's how you say that word. Again, so you're prepared and you don't look kind of crazy when you go into the room and you're like, oh, structure again. Anyway, structure will set you free. And I think that's one of the most important things. And I know, like you, Deb, you have, your script of how you're going, your bullet points of what you want to say. Yeah. And that's okay. And that's totally okay, because it's chaotic when you sort of wing it. And, improvising is cool. I love improv. There's a technique for improv as well. There's a structure to the actual technique of improv. There are certain bullet points that you have to hit to be really successful in an improv. But winging stuff, it's fine. I do wing stuff as a teacher sometimes. I ain't gonna lie. At this point in my life, I've been teaching yoga for 8 years. I can go into a class and teach a class without having to write out a sequence. It's because I have built up the tools for that, the muscles, and I have built up a general structure where I know my beginning, I know my middle, I know my end.
And it's the same thing with speaking. Like, it's like having the beginning, the middle, and the end. But as you get more skilled, then you can kind of do more freestyle to it. Because even for those people that are listening that aren't actors, but every day, because a lot of people are entrepreneurs, if you're going to that next level of wherever you want to be, you have to embody that, is what he's saying. You have to be it. You can't wait to get it to be it. It's the prerequisite is the beingness. And that's, Cornelius, that's what our job title is, human being, but everybody thinks we're human doing. That's why I love the way you talked about the grounding and the more downtime, because I didn't have that, because I left New York when I was 7. So I didn't have that till 2020. 2020 gave me the gift of never having to drive, never having to go anywhere, and ooh la la, all the peace that comes from that groundedness, where you can embody and just be the truth of who you want, and intentionally. Okay, today I want to be at peace. Today I want to be balanced. Today I want to be full of joy. And I mean, that's what you do as an actor, but that's what we're all doing in the game, the acting game of life, right?
Everything, what we're doing is, and I say this too when I do some of my coaching with yoga teachers who want to and want to be better speakers and better teachers. I said, and I just did a seminar in Long Beach with a group of women, business women. They were mainly from the real estate industry. And
Nice.
they asked the same question, like, I go into my meetings or I have a showing and I just want to say everything I need to say correctly. How do I get so nervous ahead of time? But I was saying the same thing. Structure will set you free, and staying grounded, choosing a word. That's where I wanted to get to. Choosing a word for yourself. What is your word right now that you want to do going into this? I want to smile. Just that's the first thing that just came into my mind. But choosing a word which is going to give you like a motivation, intention. We talk about that in acting as well, but choosing a word. And the thing is, and getting back to that point of this workshop that I was doing, everything that we do as entrepreneurs, as obviously as performers, but as business people, as people who do public speaking, people who guide, lead people, teachers, ministers, sermons, there's a performative element to what we're doing.
Right.
And I'm not saying we have to get up and perform like I'm going for an Oscar, I'm like, Hollywood. No, you don't have to do that. I'm just saying there is a level of performative quality, a technique that you have to bring to the space to keep people engaged. And that's the thing, it's about engaging people. And however you engage people, it's about you finding the way that you best engage people that speaks true to you and keeps you grounded and in your body. And then I think, you'll just be completely just like, this was fun, right? This was fun. So again, remember, there is a performative quality to it, and it's okay. Accept that, know that it is. And then within that, find your word,
I love that.
Find your word.
Find your word. And it's fun because you're being authentically yourself. You're not being somebody else.
You're not being somebody else. You're being who you are. And then if you're being somebody else, okay, you're being somebody else. Well, that didn't feel too good. That didn't feel me. Yeah, that didn't feel like me. Okay, well, you always got the next appointment. You got the next meeting. You didn't get that one. That's how it is for auditions for me. Sometimes you go into auditions. I've gone into auditions. I'd be like, I just didn't feel like myself singing that song. Or I just didn't feel like myself taping this scene today. I just didn't feel it. And that's okay. We can't get everything. It's not going to be perfect all the time.
Right.
It's not going to feel exciting all the time. Boredom is okay. Look for something. If you're bored about something, if it didn't move you, it's okay. And again, what I was saying, like sometimes I've gone into auditions, or up for parts where I didn't, or even I taught classes before. I was like, I just didn't feel my best today. And guess what? Ring, you're hired, Cornelius, or get a text. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for class today. That was exactly what I needed. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna accept that. All right, okay.
And maybe the performance wasn't exactly what you thought or to your highest and best, but they could sense the energy underneath because of the embodiment of that word. Yes, energy is everything.
Yeah, that encoding.
And I love your energy of giving. I want to talk to you about the work you do in sober living homes and how you bring mindfulness. I think that's such a wonderful part of your giving back. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So when it was probably around like my 7th year when I was with the Lion King, I wanted to go back to school. There was something just boiling inside myself. I just needed some more information. I just needed more in life. Again, I was living in New York. I was like, I was doing everything, but I just felt like there was a missing link. And and this will go back to answer a question you talked about back in the days about entrepreneurship. I started writing solo shows, so autobiographical solo shows about me growing up and me living my authentic life, talking about me as a young boy, talking about me as a young boy coming of age, exploring and owning my sexual identity as well. And so those shows helped me to also, get back up and learn to be more of that entrepreneur, that go-getter, and really try to work things out as an individual and see how that works, on a larger scale. But I needed a little more support and information. So I went back to school And I went to school to study educational theater. There's a sector of educational theater called theater of the applied theater, and I was really drawn to theater of the oppressed. Um,
Oh.
and that's basically theater for social change, using theater as a tool for social
Mm,
change. And so that
beautiful.
really, that really like started me on this journey of really discovering, like, yes, I'm a performer, and I feel I'm also called to do more, and I'm called to heal and share.
Mm,
And so within that, I realized, hey, I have this information now about how to use my story, my journey as a performer, as a young gay Black boy from the South. I have these tools that I can use to help other people. And my mission at that time was to help other young Black gay men who may have had similar stories to me, to help us see a way out, to help
yes.
uplift us. And I was really drawn to doing this work with the youth
Mm,
and LGBTQ identified youth as well. So that's what started me in the path of, that's what started me on my path. And I started creating like these workshops around it was more like conflict resolution workshops. It was like workshops based on identity. Again, how do we use these like theater creative tools, almost like drama therapy, and how do
nice.
we uplift the community? Now, fast forward to sober living, getting to that question.
Mhm.
I started teaching at a sober living center, and it's with clients who are struggling with drug and alcohol addiction. I started. There was a yoga student of mine back at a yoga student of mine from Beverly Hills had really in love with me, and we had a very good kinship. And this person had asked me if I would be interested in teaching yoga at a facility that they were just starting for people who were dealing with, drug and alcohol addiction. And I was like, yeah. So I went over there. I started teaching yoga, just yoga classes, like what I was doing at Beverly Hills, teaching yoga. Of course, it wasn't like, we weren't doing yoga burn and everything. It was a little more on the gentle side, power yoga,
Uh,
gentle side. And one day, one of the former directors of the program, he came up to me and was just like, Cornelius, you teach you act, and you also have a degree in theater. Can you teach some acting classes for our clients? We just need more.
oh, how
Yeah.
cool.
But hold on, I was like, yes, I do, and I can do that. Can I actually teach more of acting from a drama therapist point of view?
Right.
Can I make this more of a transformative and
Mm,
healing project for them, instead of just showing up and saying,
right.
let's learn about how to be an actor?
Right, right, right.
Which would have been fun, but I felt like it could have this was my opportunity
Right.
to to use theater for social change.
Love it.
So my groups became Creative Arts and Healing, which was just basically using the tools of theater, dance, movement, yoga, creative writing as a tool for social and emotional healing. And so that's how I got into working into like that sector of recovery. And I just have been doing it for a long time now, and I just enjoy what I'm able to bring. Not saying it is the answer, it's like an alternative approach to helping people through on their road to recovery.
And I love that so much. I don't know if you know this about me, fun fact, but I used to be a vocational rehabilitation counselor. So I've
Mm,
worked with foster youth. I've worked with boys in juvenile detention centers. I even worked with incarcerated people while they were locked up, just like empowering, just giving them mindset tools so that they
yeah.
can choose, they could be in, they don't have to be victims of their circumstances. Yes,
Yeah.
to to honor their experience and what they went through and to heal and feel, but
Yeah,
not to let that dictate their future, that they
yeah,
could literally do anything. So I love that we have that in common.
I
Oh my
love
God, I
it.
wanted to ask you like 20 more questions, but we're like out of time. Like about your Ayurveda. Do we have just one quick? Can you just talk just one question, just really quick? We have like 4 minutes left, and I want to
Okay.
get to your website and your membership and all that. Can you talk about your interest in Ayurveda and what that is and how that ties into the whole yoga union alignment? Because I think what we eat and how we operate is so important. I love this new thing you're doing.
Yeah, so Ayurveda is it's an Eastern science, which basically it's I'm learning basically what you say, what you think, and what you feel should align with your body and your mind. So for me,
So wait, say it slower. What you say, what you
what
feel, and
I'm learning what you say, what you think, and what you feel should align with your body.
that's beautiful. Oh my God.
So that's what Ayurveda is for me, and
Ah,
it's an Eastern science that has been around for a very long time, which incorporates, yes, understanding more about plant and plant-based foods as medicine. Not saying that Ayurveda is a they don't approach it from like a vegan or vegetarian approach, but it's about using food as medicine, whether it's plant
love it.
or animal based protein as medicine. Understanding different types of plants and how the herbal qualities of different plants, understanding herbs, understanding oils, and understanding your
Ah,
lifestyle as well. Like, not only is it all about just your food, but it's also about your lifestyle, your sleep, and again, how your body is in harmony, in union, like yoga, with your mind. So that has been my attraction to Ayurveda, just to deepen my understanding and deepen my practice as a yoga student and as a teacher.
I have 3 clients that are in training for it. It just seems like there's an awakening, and it's because there's no one size fits all for one body. I just
No,
love.
no, no. It's not one size fit all for one body. And you'll know in Ayurveda, it's slow medicine. It's
Mhm.
natural medicine. It's slow medicine, and it takes time. And so you'll know like certain things may work for you at this point of your life or this season of your life, and you may have to change at the next season of your life. And it's about
Right.
taking things out and putting things in, so that again we can get in more imbalance, because we do everyone has imbalances in their life. We
Right.
all do have imbalance, and this is about finding out what those imbalances are. Maybe I can't get it all on the same frequency, but I can at least bring it up so it can somewhat match.
I love it. I love it. Isn't he fantastic? Brittany is like, because her company is called Balance with Brit. She's like,
Okay.
yes,
Hey, Brittany.
amen.
Hey,
Yeah, she
Brittany.
loves you. She's been quoting you this whole time. She's like, structure sets you free. Nancy was saying, it's okay to rag on Lululemon. I'm like, don't say no. She's like, I love this conversation. And then people are singing Circle of Life. Okay, so they love you. You're obviously
Thank you for your comments, y'all. Appreciate that.
they're just like in love with you. Okay, so how can people stay in touch with you, and how can people join the community that I'm a part of? You're a part that you're leading. Your
Yeah.
Cornelius Yoga Burn.
Thank you for asking. You can definitely find me on Instagram at Cornelius Jones Jr. Facebook, the same thing as Cornelius Jones Jr. Those are the best two ways to find me on the social media platform. YouTube, you can find me at Cornelius Yoga Burn. Also, you can find me on my website, corneliusyogaburn.com. If you go to the website, you'll definitely get all of the information about live classes that I teach, the Zoom classes. I would love to actually, I would love to have you a part of our Yoga Burn Elite Tribe. It is a subscription-based subscription-based program where we do yoga burn, we do boot camp, we do gentle, we do just power yoga. It's a community of like-minded individuals who are just excited and are just really here to just get present and more aligned. There are 2 tiers to the membership. Definitely, if you want to jump in that, you can get 1 tier where you'll get all of the on-demand videos and watch on your own time. Or the other tier, you get on demand, plus you get to work out and commune with us twice a week live.
And I, have to say, I do the on-demand recorded because I couldn't always do it live. But what I do miss the live because he'd be like, Deborah, hold in your tummy. Deborah, tuck in your booty. Deborah, come on, your form, shoulders back. Like I do, I think. And then you see other people, and everyone's like in awe when we're done with class. Like people are like, oh, thank you, thank you. Like people are like clapping. We're just
definitely, yeah. Because doing it live is more accountability. Live, more accountability doing it live. Yeah. So
what fake the fuck?
Yeah. So yeah, you guys can find me there. Again, if you go to the website, CorneliusYogaBurn.com, find me on Instagram, Cornelius Jones Jr. I am definitely more active on Instagram than Facebook. I am not gonna lie. But everything else on the website, you can find all of the information, updated information. I have other videos and I just finished a wellness program as well called Rise 2021. Which will be available as an on-demand feature that you can purchase as a package. It was a 14-day yoga challenge with a specialized meal plan that my student, who's also my nutritionist and food coach, her name is Jackie Gomba. Her and I created this program together where she curated the meals to fit the specific days that we did, like bar burn, or we did yoga burn, or we did our gentle restorative flow, or we did more an intense flow. And then you get daily accountability you get daily accountability mantras. When we did the program in live time, you got daily emails as well. But this will become available in about 2 to 3 weeks, where you should be able to just go in to Yoga Burn, CorneliusYogaBurn.com, and just purchase this. If that's something you want to, challenge yourself for 14 days to just be more present, more in your body, and more accountable to your mind and your physical health and your spirit. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if 2020 taught us one thing, it's the importance of health, and not just physical health, but the inside. Because you could look skinny, but not be in good health. And you can't fake the funk with immunity. So we're like, okay. So I think it's wonderful that you have that food component with it. And you're looking kind of buff, my friend. Ooh la la, look at your muscles. It's bulging out of
I can see my sweaty armpits.
Ain't no shame in your game.
Ring light right here, like bam, in my face. It is so hot right now. It's so
now you're inspiring me after this to do some yoga burn. Yeah, I'm gonna go in my room.
The funny thing is, I actually during the challenge, my goal was to do the challenge with everyone when we did it. We ended it 3 weeks ago. My goal was to do it with everybody, do the meal plans every day, and do the workouts, teach, and then do my own workout after that.
Right.
That didn't happen. I had to practice a little Brahmacharya, which is Sanskrit for moderation. I had to be gentle and
say that again. What's that word?
I'm not pronouncing it correctly. That's why I'm doing more Ayurveda to get everything more aligned with my pronunciation. But Brahmacharya, it is one of the yamas of
moderation.
Yeah, moderation. It's just to do things, do things in moderation. Just you don't have to do you have to do everything, right? You don't have to do everything. Give yourself some space and some time to go slow. Don't put a lot on your plate, because more than likely you put a whole lot on your plate, nothing's going to get accomplished, and you're going to just start to internalize that and feel bad about yourself.
Literally and figuratively. And in the words of my grandmother Ida, you were talking about your ancestors. My Lithuanian grandmother that lived to be 97, who would have amaretto every night. She would have one piece of dark chocolate, and she said the secret to life is everything in moderation.
Ooh, amen. Yes. And one of my
I love you, Grandma.
Oh my gosh, so aligned today. I was working with one of my clients at the Sober Living Center, and we were having a dialogue because we were talking about the yamas. We were on Don Miguel Ruiz today. So the last 2 weeks, the theme has been, I've been doing the 4 agreements theme with them. And he was saying that his father was telling him the same exact quote. Yep. He just said the same exact thing today. So talk about that.
And my grandma, one more tip that my grandma gave me, she was Jewish Yiddish. So she would say kvetch means complain in Yiddish. And so she would say, take one day a week or one day a month to kvetch, complain about all the ills of the world. She would complain a lot about politics and this and that. And then the rest of the time, just let all it go. Yeah. And then you're just living in a state of just open receptivity, not constrained.
You want to get it out. Purge that. purge that, and that's like in yoga practice when we're breathing, in class when I say let it out, I tell
Yes.
people, I'm like, if you got to exhale, let it out. Ha! You
Right.
want to purge that stuff, get that stuff out. Maybe something is just like, you're so frustrated. Don't hold it in, because when we hold it in, that just holds sickness within our bodies. Just like when you're
Right.
sneezing and when you're coughing, don't hold it in. Something needs to come out. Something is trying to come out. So sneeze. So cough. Who cares if they hear you? Who cares if you look ugly, like sneezing? If you look ugly, you
Right.
sound crazy coughing. Get it out. But yeah. So I Brahmachari, I didn't do the whole cleanse. I did not. I was like, this is too much. Me trying to do this with everybody. I need to be in a
Right.
and just lead. So what I did
Yes.
was when it ended, and yesterday I took myself through a 14-day through that 14-day rise challenge.
Oh,
And that
oh.
felt great because I've never actually done a yoga challenge all these years. I've never done a yoga challenge. I've done a cleanse challenge and like a meal challenge, but
Right.
I've never done a yoga challenge. And it was just really great to do my own challenge. And then and there were some days when I took my own class too. And I was just like, oh, wow.
I'm really good.
I know. I had to give myself some credit because, you
You
just never really
should.
sit back and smell the roses. It's just like,
Yeah.
and I needed to do that. And I was just like, I kind of see what people say now because I'm just in it. I'm just in it. I'm
Yeah.
doing it. I'm just teaching it.
In a flow.
Yeah. And I'm in the flow. I'm giving. But I was just really proud of myself.
You should be. I'm proud of you. And I love you.
I
And I'm
love
proud
you.
of you. I'm so we're all so blessed. So thank you so much. And I'd love to have you come back. Maybe when you do
Yeah.
your next challenge, or if you want to talk about your retreat or just talk a whole show on Ayurveda. I just think it's
Yeah.
fascinating, right? So
Yeah.
thank you all so much for tuning in. I really am so grateful that you got to learn from my master teacher, Cornelius Jones Jr. He's such a light in this world, and you are such a light in this world. So the intention of the podcast isn't just to listen to the conversation passively, but to take the suggestions that were given. Do the practice of gratitude, have the structure that you need to have that confidence, all of the tools. Go back and listen to the podcast. And if you love it, please share it. What would happen if this world had everybody aligned? What would this world look like? That's my soul's contract. And I hope that you will share the love. And I want you to remind you that we're here each and every Monday. So if you have a friend, just tag them in the post. They can rewatch this. This is not only on the podcast, it's on YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. And I want to remind everyone that you are a messenger for a very important message, and that with the power of synergy, anything is possible. Ciao for now. Bye. Thank you, Cornelius.
Thank you, Deb. Thanks, everyone.
Ciao.